How to actually master emotional intelligence. Most people just pretend. Introduction: the pretend game. Most people believe they are emotionally intelligent, but the truth is far more interesting. They say, "I'm fine," when they are burning with frustration, and they nod along in meetings while secretly feeling lost. This daily pretense drains our energy and keeps real connection just out of reach. We learn to manage the surface of our feelings while ignoring the powerful currents underneath. This book is not about adding another skill to your resume that you can fake. It is an invitation to a quieter, more honest, and profoundly powerful way of living. Imagine ending the exhausting work of pretending to be who you think you should be. What if the very feelings you try to hide are your greatest guides? Let's discover what happens when you decide to stop playing the game and start winning at something real. This journey is not about becoming perfectly calm or nice all the time. Real emotional mastery is about becoming fluent in the language of your inner world, so you can navigate the outer world with confidence. Think of a time you reacted instantly to a rude email and immediately regretted it. That is the old way of pretending you were in control. The new way gives you the power to choose your response, no matter the pressure. You will learn to transform moments of tension into opportunities for connection and growth. The tools in this book are simple, but their impact is extraordinary. They will change your relationships, your work, and the peace you feel within yourself. Get ready to trade the heavy mask of pretense for the light, authentic power of true emotional intelligence. Your adventure into what is real starts now. Chapter 1: Your Emotional Wake-Up Call. Picture Leo, a manager who prides himself on being logical and unshakable. During a tense project review, a colleague points out a major flaw in his plan. Leo feels a sudden heat in his face and a tightness in his chest, but he forces a smile. He dismisses the feedback quickly, insisting his data is solid. He leaves the meeting believing he appeared strong and in command. Later, his team is quiet and distant, the project stalls, and Leo cannot figure out why. He missed his crucial wake-up call, those physical signals in his body that were trying to tell him he felt threatened and insecure. By ignoring them, he silenced a vital source of intelligence and damaged his team's trust. His body was shouting a truth his mind refused to hear. Your body is your emotions' first and most honest speaker, long before your thoughts catch up. A clenched jaw, a sinking stomach, or a quickened pulse are not random. They are urgent bulletins from your inner self. Most people ignore these signs or try to argue them away, believing that being strong means feeling nothing. This is the greatest lie we tell ourselves in the pursuit of being professional or tough. True strength starts with the courage to simply notice what is happening inside you. This is not about dwelling on feelings. It is about collecting crucial data. Think of yourself as an explorer, learning the unique map of your own physical landscape. Each sensation is a clue to a deeper truth waiting to be understood. To start this practice, we will begin with a simple, powerful exercise called the body scan. Find a quiet moment, close your eyes, and slowly turn your attention to your body from head to toe. Do not try to change anything, just notice. Is there tension in your shoulders, a flutter in your belly, a lightness in your chest? Do not judge what you find as good or bad. Your only job is to observe, like a scientist discovering a new territory. This builds your noticing muscle, which is the foundation of all emotional intelligence. With regular practice, you will catch feelings while they are still small and manageable. You will begin to recognize your personal warning signs for stress or your signals for joy. This awareness is your superpower, your internal early warning system that puts you back in the driver's seat. Let's make it exciting. Consider this your personal mission should you choose to accept it. For the next 3 days, set 3 random phone alarms labeled check-in. When the alarm goes off, wherever you are, pause for just 15 seconds. Ask yourself, what do I feel in my body right now? That is all. You are not solving anything, just noticing. You might discover that your afternoon slump is actually tension, or that a boring task makes your legs feel restless. These are breakthroughs. Each observation is a piece of your personal puzzle falling into place. You are decoding the secret language your body has been speaking your whole life. This simple act of noticing is the first, brave step out of the pretend world and into the real one. Get curious about yourself. The discoveries are endless. Imagine how Leo's story could have been different if he had felt that heat in his face and recognized it as a signal. In that moment, he could have taken a breath and thanked his colleague for the sharp eye. He could have said, "That's an important point. Let me look at this data again." This response would have transformed tension into collaboration and shown true leadership. By honoring his body's signal, he would have chosen a path of connection instead of defense. Your wake-up call is happening every single day, in meetings, in conversations, in quiet moments alone. The choice is yours to hit snooze on your feelings or to answer the call. This chapter is your training ground to build the awareness that makes every other skill possible. Welcome to the start of living a truly responsive life, not a reactive one. Chapter 2. The Name It to Tame It Superpower. Maria felt a storm brewing inside her as she scrolled through social media. A photo popped up of her friends at a dinner she wasn't invited to. Her heart dropped, her throat tightened, and she quickly closed the app. "I'm just tired," she told herself, pushing the feelings away. For the rest of the evening, she was snappy with her partner and couldn't focus on her book. She went to bed feeling lonely and irritable but couldn't pinpoint why. The unnamed emotion, rejection mixed with sadness, was free to run wild in the background of her mind. By refusing to identify it, she gave it more power, letting it color her entire night. Maria didn't know that the simple act of numbing her feeling could have drained its intensity and set her free. Think of a messy, scary monster in a dark room. That is an unidentified emotion. Now, imagine flipping on the light and seeing it is just a pile of old clothes and a vacuum cleaner. Numbing your emotion is that light switch. It moves the feeling from a terrifying unknown into something you can see and manage. Neuroscience shows that labeling an emotion activates the thinking part of your brain and calms the reactive alarm center. You are not getting rid of the feeling. You are putting a frame around it so it does not take over the whole picture. This simple act creates a crucial space between you and the emotion. In that space, your power to choose your response is born. You move from being a passenger of your feelings to becoming their observer and guide. Let's build your emotional vocabulary beyond just good, bad, stressed, or fine. These vague words are like using a blurry camera. They don't capture the true image. Was Maria bad, or was she specifically feeling excluded, overlooked, or nostalgic for closeness? Are you stressed, or are you actually feeling overwhelmed, uncertain, or pressured? Grab a notebook and write down 3 columns: mad, sad, glad. Under each, list more precise words. For mad, try irritated, resentful, defensive. For sad, try disappointed, wistful, lonely. For glad, try grateful, hopeful, amused. This is not about being fancy with words. It is about finding the right key to unlock the feelings hold on you. The more precise you are, the more control you gain. Your mission this week is to practice the "it seems like" statement. When you feel a strong emotion rising, pause and say to yourself, "It seems like I'm feeling," and fill in the blank with your best guess. You do not have to be 100% right. The goal is the attempt, the act of reaching for a label. It seems like I'm feeling jealous of my coworker's success. It seems like I'm feeling anxious about this deadline. This phrase is gentle and curious, not judgmental. It turns the feeling into an object you can look at, rather than a force you are drowning in. Each time you do this, you are strengthening the neural pathways for self-awareness. You are training your brain to respond with clarity instead of chaos. Watch how the emotion often shrinks just a little when you shine the light of a name on it. Imagine if Maria had practiced this. Seeing that photo, feeling the slump, she could have paused and said, "It seems like I'm feeling left out and a little hurt." Just by numbing it, the storm inside would have lost some fuel. She could then decide what to do with that information. Maybe text a friend to make plans, or remind herself of the deep connection she does have. The feeling would not have hijacked her evening. This superpower transforms internal chaos into actionable information. Your feelings become useful guides, not hidden enemies. They tell you what you value, what you need, and where your boundaries are. By numbing them, you honor their message without letting them run the show. You become the author of your emotional story, not just a character tossed around by the plot. This skill turns everyday conflicts into moments of mastery. In a disagreement, instead of just feeling angry, you might identify that you feel disrespected or unheard. Now you know exactly what to address. You can say, "I feel my perspective wasn't heard," which is far more constructive than just lashing out. Numbing is the bridge from internal confusion to clear communication. It is how you take the messy, colorful world inside you and translate it into a language you and others can understand. Start small, be kind to yourself, and celebrate every time you catch and name a feeling. You are building a lifelong tool for peace and power. Get ready to see how much quieter the storm becomes when you learn to call it by its true name. Chapter 3: Your Inner Voice, Friend or Frenemy. Sam stared at the blank screen, the cursor blinking like a ticking clock. His presentation was due in 2 hours, and his mind was a chorus of noise. "You waited too long, you're unprepared," one voice hissed. "Everyone will see you're a fraud," another chimed in. Sam slumped in his chair, feeling paralyzed and defeated before he had typed a single word. This critical inner soundtrack felt like the absolute truth, a brutal news report on his failures. He did not realize that this voice was not a truth-teller, but an old, fearful protector from his past. By believing every word, he handed over all his power and confidence. That frenemy in his head was winning, keeping him small and stuck in a cycle of anxiety and inaction. We all have this running commentary in our minds, but we rarely stop to question who is really speaking. Is it your present-day wise self? Or is it a collection of old criticisms from parents, teachers, or past embarrassments? This inner voice often speaks in extremes. "You always mess up," or "You'll never be good enough." Listen closely to its tone. Is it kind and encouraging or harsh and mocking? A friend's voice builds you up, offers compassion, and focuses on solutions. A frenemy's voice tears you down, deals in shame, and insists on perfection. Your first task is to simply notice the difference. Start by identifying when the voice is speaking from fear versus when it is speaking from fact. This awareness is the first step in changing the channel. It is time to catch your frenemy in the act and talk back. When you hear a harsh thought like, "That was a stupid thing to say," pause. Literally say to yourself, "Stop." Then challenge it with curiosity. Ask, "Is that 100% true? Would I say this to my best friend?" Now consciously rewrite the script with the voice of a true friend. Transform "that was stupid" into "I was nervous and I can clarify my point next time." Change "you're a failure" into "this is hard but I'm learning and I can ask for help." This is not about fake positivity. It is about fair and helpful commentary. You are not erasing the inner voice. You are promoting a kinder, wiser one to be the lead speaker. Practice this rewrite every single time you notice the criticism. Let's make this real with your frenemy log. For 3 days, carry a small notebook or use your phone notes. Each time you hear a harsh inner criticism, jot it down word for word. Then next to it, write how a supportive friend would reframe that thought. Seeing these thoughts on paper strips them of their power. They look smaller and sillier. You will start to see patterns. Maybe your frenemy attacks your competence most before meetings, or your worthiness after social events. These patterns are gold. They show you your vulnerable spots. Now you know exactly where to build your mental armor of friend voice responses. This log is not a diary of shame. It is your empowerment manual, proof that you are taking back control of your mind. Imagine Sam with this tool. Hearing "you're a fraud," he pauses, recognizes the frenemy, and rewrites. "I'm feeling pressure, but I have prepared before and can do it again. Let me start with one simple slide." This shift does not magically create a perfect presentation, but it unparalyzes him. It moves energy from self-attack to focused action. The quality of your inner dialogue directly determines the quality of your outer life. A friendly inner world creates resilience, courage, and the willingness to try. A hostile inner world creates fear, avoidance, and stagnation. You spend every moment of your life with your own thoughts. Make that relationship a supportive one. You deserve a cheerleader in your corner, not a critic with a megaphone. This chapter is your invitation to become the guardian of your own mind. You have the remote control. You get to choose which channel plays. With consistent practice, the friend voice will become your default, your inner home base. You will face challenges not with "I can't," but with "how can I?" You will see setbacks not as proof of failure, but as data for growth. Your inner world will become a place of shelter and strength, not a source of fear. This is one of the most profound changes you can make on your EQ journey. Start today. Listen, catch, and rewrite. Build a mind that is truly on your team, and watch how your entire world begins to transform from the inside out. Chapter 4: The Pause Button, Your Secret Weapon. The customer's email was brutal, unfairly blaming Lena for a shipping delay she didn't cause. Instantly, her face flushed hot and her fingers flew to the keyboard, ready to fire back a defensive, point-by-point rebuttal. Her body was screaming to fight, to prove she was right. But just as her fingertips touched the keys, she remembered her new rule: the pause button. She physically pushed her chair back from the desk, stood up, and walked to the window for 60 seconds. She watched a bird land on a branch, took 3 deep breaths, and felt the heat in her face begin to cool. That tiny space changed everything. When she returned, she wrote a calm email acknowledging the frustration and outlining a solution. She turned an enemy into a loyal client, all because of a 6-second gap. That space between a trigger and your reaction is where your power lives. Without it, you are a puppet, and your emotions pull the strings. The pause button is your secret weapon to cut those strings. It is not about suppressing your feelings. It is about choosing your response. Neuroscience calls this the 6-second rule. It takes about 6 seconds for the brain's chemical surge of emotion to dissipate. Your job is to create a simple ritual that lasts at least that long. This breaks the automatic circuit of stimulus reaction. In that pause, you reclaim your role as the decision maker. You move from being emotionally hijacked to being emotionally intelligent. This small habit is the difference between a regret and a victory. Your pause button ritual must be personal and easy. It could be taking 3 deliberate, slow breaths, focusing only on the air moving in and out. It could be silently counting to 10 or feeling your feet firmly on the floor. For Lena, it was pushing back and walking away. The action itself is not magical. The act of interrupting your automatic pilot is. Practice this ritual in low-stakes moments first, when you're stuck in traffic, when your phone pings, when you feel a minor irritation. Train your brain to associate the trigger of rising emotion with this new, calming action. You are building a new neural highway, so when a big emotional truck comes barreling down, it has a better route to take. Make your ritual simple, physical, and always available. Now let's weaponize your pause for greater impact. Once you've created the space, ask yourself one of these 3 powerful questions before you act. What do I really want from this situation? How would my best self respond right now? Or is my reaction about this moment or an old story? These questions instantly engage your wiser prefrontal cortex. In Lena's case, asking, "What do I really want?" shifted her goal from "prove I'm right" to "keep a client and solve the problem." That reframe changed her entire approach. The pause gives you time to access your intelligence, not just your impulse. It turns a heated moment into a strategic moment. You stop being a warrior fighting a battle and become a diplomat building a bridge. Imagine the cost of life without this button. A snapped comment that damages a relationship for years. A rushed decision made in panic that backfires spectacularly. A lost opportunity because fear answered for you. Now imagine the payoff of using it. Difficult conversations that lead to deeper respect. Tough decisions made with clarity and confidence. A personal sense of calm and control, no matter the external chaos. The pause button is your personal reset switch for any situation. It is the ultimate tool for integrity, allowing your actions to match your values, not your temporary feelings. Every time you press it, you are voting for the person you want to be. You are choosing a legacy of thoughtful response over a trail of reactive damage. This week, your mission is to create and use your pause button 3 times a day. Set a reminder if you must. Practice when a colleague interrupts you, when you get mildly criticized, when you feel a wave of impatience. Celebrate every single time you remember to use it, regardless of the outcome. You are strengthening a mental muscle, and muscles grow with repetition. Soon, this pause will become your natural first instinct. You will begin to see triggers not as emergencies, but as invitations to practice your power. The world will throw the same challenges at you, but you will no longer be the same person receiving them. You will be the calm in the storm, the one who responds rather than reacts. Master this, and you master yourself. Chapter 5. Walking in their shoes without losing your own. Jake was furious. His teammate Chloe had missed another deadline, putting their project behind. "She's so lazy and unreliable," he fumed, preparing to confront her with his list of grievances. But then he remembered a principle from this chapter: seek first to understand. He forced himself to pause and schedule a talk, not an attack. In the meeting, instead of accusing, he asked with genuine curiosity, "Chloe, help me understand what's been happening with the project timelines." "Is everything okay?" Chloe's shoulders slumped, and tears welled in her eyes. She revealed she was caring for a sick parent at night and was utterly exhausted and ashamed. In an instant, Jake's anger melted into compassion. The problem was no longer a bad teammate, but a human in crisis needing support. This is the true power of empathy. It changes the entire game. Empathy is not about agreeing with someone or fixing their problems. It is the courageous act of stepping out of your own viewpoint to imagine the world from behind their eyes. It is understanding the why behind their actions. Most people pretend to listen while just waiting for their turn to talk. Real empathy means silencing your inner monologue to truly hear theirs. It requires asking, what must it be like to be them, with their history, their pressures, their fears? When you do this, you are not losing yourself. You are expanding your understanding of reality. You exchange the lonely prison of your own perspective for the connection of shared human experience. Let's practice the core skill of empathetic listening. Your goal is to make the other person feel felt. This means when they speak, you listen only to understand, not to reply. Put your phone away, turn your body toward them, and quiet your mind. Then use the magic of reflection. After they share, say, "What I'm hearing is that you feel," or "It sounds like that was really," and paraphrase their emotional content. If Chloe says, "I'm just drowning," you reflect, "It sounds like you're feeling completely overwhelmed." This simple act validates their experience like nothing else. It proves you are not just hearing their words, but listening for their heart. It builds a bridge of trust where confrontation once stood. But how do you stay grounded in your own feelings and needs while doing this? This is the crucial balance. Empathy is a bridge, not a merger. After you understand them, you can return to your own side and state your perspective with clarity and kindness. Jake could then say, "Thank you for telling me that. It helps me understand so much. I do need to share that when deadlines are missed, I feel really anxious about our project's success. How can we support you while also making sure we hit our key goals?" This combines empathy with accountability. You hold space for their humanity and your own boundaries. This is mature, emotionally intelligent leadership. It solves problems without creating resentment. Imagine applying this to every conflict in your life. Your partner seems distant. Seek to understand their stress before assuming they are pulling away. Your boss is overly critical. Wonder what pressure they might be under from their bosses. This does not excuse poor behavior, but it explains it. Explanation is the first step to a solution, while blame is a dead end. When you approach people with empathy, you disarm their defenses and open the door to collaboration. You become a person others feel safe with, and safety is the foundation for honesty, creativity, and loyalty. You stop collecting enemies and start building allies. You become a force for resolution in a world full of reaction. Your empathy challenge this week is to have one conversation where your only goal is to understand. Choose someone you've had a minor tension with, a family member, coworker, or friend. Ask them a question about how they're feeling about something in their life and just listen. Reflect back what you hear. Resist every urge to give advice or talk about yourself. Notice what happens in them and in you. You will likely see their body relax and their words deepen. You will feel a new sense of connection and patience. This practice rewires you from a judgmental mind to a curious heart. It is the essence of true emotional intelligence, leading with understanding to create outcomes where everyone feels seen. Start building your bridges today. Chapter 6. The Art of the Tough Talk. Annika knew she had to talk to her roommate Maya about the constantly dirty kitchen, but the thought filled her with dread. She imagined Maya getting defensive, a big fight erupting, and an awkward, tense home. So for weeks, Annika said nothing, just seethed quietly and cleaned up the mess herself. Her resentment grew every day, poisoning their friendship. She was trapped between two bad options: explode in anger or suffer in silence. This is the classic tough talk trap. What Annika didn't know is that there is a third brilliant option: a clear, kind, and confident conversation. A tough talk done well does not destroy a relationship. It strengthens it by clearing the air and building mutual respect. The foundation of a successful tough talk is your intention. You must enter the conversation not to win, blame, or punish, but to solve a problem and improve the relationship. Check your heart before you start. Are you seeking understanding, or are you seeking to prove you're right? Your goal should be to express your feelings and needs clearly while being open to hearing theirs. To prepare, use the powerful "I feel" statement formula. It has 3 simple parts. When you specific behavior, I feel emotion, because I need value core need. This formula keeps the focus on your experience and avoids accusatory, "you always" statements that make people shut down. It transforms criticism into a vulnerable, honest share. Let's script Annika's talk using this tool. Instead of, "You're such a slob, you never clean," she could prepare, "Maya, when I come home and see the dishes piled in the sink for days, I feel frustrated and a bit disrespected because I really value a clean shared space and teamwork." See the difference. The first statement is an attack. The second is an invitation to solve a shared problem. It states a clear, observable fact, names her personal feeling, and connects it to a positive value. This makes it almost impossible for the other person to argue, because you are talking about your own reality, not labeling theirs. It lowers defenses and opens the door for a real discussion. Now you must deliver it with the right tone and setting. Choose a private, neutral time, not when the problem is actively happening or when someone is stressed or rushed. Start by expressing care for the relationship. "Our friendship is really important to me, which is why I want to talk about something that's been on my mind." Then, use your prepared statement. After you speak, the most important part comes. You pause and listen. Give them the gift of your full attention to hear their response. They might explain, apologize, or share their own perspective. Your job is to listen with the empathy skills from Chapter 5. This is a dialogue, not a monologue. The goal is a mutual agreement, not a surrender. Imagine the new outcome for Annika. After her clear, kind statement, Maya might say, "Oh wow, I'm so sorry. I've been so slammed with work, I've just been thoughtless. I don't want you to feel that way." Together, they could then brainstorm a simple cleaning schedule. The resentment vanishes, the problem gets solved, and their respect for each other grows. This is the art in action. Tough talks are the maintenance work of strong relationships. Avoiding them lets small cracks become giant fissures. Having them with skill builds unshakable trust and deep understanding. It shows you care enough to be honest, and that you trust the relationship to handle the truth. Your courage challenge this week is to identify one small, lingering issue you've been avoiding. It could be with a partner, friend, or colleague. Use the "I feel" statement formula to write down exactly what you want to say. Practice it out loud. Then, schedule the conversation. Remember, your nerves are normal. Courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Celebrate your bravery regardless of the immediate outcome. You are breaking a pattern of silence or aggression and building a new habit of courageous clarity. Each tough talk you navigate successfully makes you stronger and your relationships more resilient. You are learning to speak difficult truths with love, and that is one of the most powerful skills a person can ever master. Chapter 7. Become a conflict alchemist. Mark and his brother, David, were at a stalemate over their elderly father's care. Mark insisted on a specialized nursing home, while David believed in-home care was better. Their calls had devolved into repeating their own arguments louder, each convinced the other was being selfish and stubborn. The family tension was thick, and the decision was stuck. They saw conflict as a battlefield with a winner and a loser, where someone had to surrender. What they didn't see was the hidden third option. That conflict, handled with emotional intelligence, could be a creative force. It could blend their differing perspectives into a solution stronger than either could imagine alone. This is the work of a conflict alchemist, turning the lead of disagreement into the gold of innovation. The first rule of alchemy is to change your view of conflict itself. Stop seeing it as a threat and start seeing it as a signal. Conflict signals that people care deeply, that there are unmet needs, or that there is important information trying to get through. Your goal shifts from defeating the other person to understanding the puzzle. Approach the disagreement like a detective, not a warrior. Your curiosity becomes your greatest tool. Ask yourself, what is the real need underneath their position? What is the fear driving my own? In Mark and David's case, Mark's need was for safety and expert care, driven by fear of his father falling. David's need was for comfort and familiarity, driven by fear of his father's depression. The conflict wasn't about the place. It was about meeting these core emotional needs. Now we use a tool called finding the shared why. Before debating the how, nursing home versus in-home, you must first agree on the why. Sit down and say, let's first make sure we're on the same page about what we ultimately want. For me, it's Dad's safety, dignity, and happiness. Is that true for you too? This simple step moves you from opposing sides to the same side of the table, looking at the problem together. Once you have a shared purpose, the dynamic changes entirely. You are no longer fighting each other. You are partnering against a problem. This shared mission becomes the container that holds the heat of your disagreement and transforms it. It reminds you that you are allies, not enemies, with a common heart. With a shared why established, you can brainstorm solutions without attachment. The key is the phrase, how might we? How might we ensure Dad's safety and his sense of familiarity? How might we get expert medical oversight and keep him in a comfortable environment? This opens the floor for creative combinations. Maybe the solution is a hybrid, a part-time in-home nurse coupled with a day program at a senior center for socialization and activities. Maybe it's a trial period of one option with clear check-in points. The conflict alchemist knows that the best answer often lies not in one original position or the other, but in a novel third way that honors pieces of both. This requires letting go of being right and embracing being effective. Imagine Mark and David using this process. They agree their shared why is Dad's well-being in every sense. They then brainstorm with open minds. They research and discover a new assisted living facility designed like small homes, with private rooms but full medical staff on site. It offers both safety and a home-like feel. This solution, which neither had considered before, becomes their answer. The conflict, once a source of division, became the catalyst for finding a perfect solution they'd never have found alone. This is the alchemy in action. The energy that was spent on arguing gets redirected into collaborative problem-solving. The relationship emerges stronger because you have proven you can handle difficult things together with respect. Your alchemist training begins now. Think of a low-stakes, ongoing disagreement in your life, maybe about chores, a work process, or a social plan. This week, initiate a conversation with the sole goal of finding your shared why. Don't try to solve it yet. Just work to agree on the common ultimate goal. Write it down together. Feel the shift in energy when you are aligned on purpose. Then when ready, ask one, how might we? Question. See what ideas emerge when you stop defending and start designing. Celebrate any movement toward collaboration. You are practicing the most advanced form of emotional intelligence. using difference as fuel for creation. Become the person who doesn't fear conflict, but who knows how to use its heat to forge stronger bonds and better answers. Chapter 8. Fuel Your Fire, Don't Burn Out. Priya was the go-to person at work, reliable, capable, and always saying yes. She stayed late, skipped lunches, and answered emails at midnight to keep up. She felt a buzz from being needed, but also a constant undercurrent of exhaustion and resentment. On the outside, she was winning. On the inside, she was slowly fatting. Her emotions were sending clear signals: dread on Sunday nights, irritability with colleagues, a feeling of emptiness, but she treated them as weaknesses to ignore. She believed stopping would mean failing. Priya didn't understand that her frustration was not a flaw, but a crucial message. Her boundaries were gone, and her inner fire was burning out of control, consuming its own fuel. Your emotions are your personal guidance system, and burnout is its loudest alarm. It's not just about being tired. It's a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by prolonged stress. The early warnings are always emotional: cynicism, detachment, loss of motivation, and feeling ineffective. Most people pretend these signs aren't there, pushing through with caffeine and willpower until they crash. Emotional intelligence here means listening to these whispers so you never have to hear the scream. It means seeing your energy as a finite, precious fuel tank. Your job is not to run on empty until you stall. It's to become an expert at monitoring your gauge and knowing how to refill it. This is how you turn sustainability into a superpower. The first refueling step is to set a non-negotiable boundary based on your feelings. A boundary is not a wall, it's a gate that you control. It's saying, I value my peace, so I will not answer emails after 7 p.m. It's saying, I need focus, so I will decline that extra meeting. Start small and concrete. Use your emotional data. What activity drains you? What interaction leaves you feeling anxious or depleted? That feeling is your guide. Your boundary is the rule you create to protect yourself from that drain. Priya's feeling of resentment was a signal. A boundary could be, I will not take on new projects without reviewing my current commitments first. This isn't saying no to others. It's saying yes to your own effectiveness and well-being. Now we move from defense to offense by identifying your true fuel sources. What activities make you lose track of time? What leaves you feeling energized, not just entertained? This is different for everyone. For one person, fuel is an hour of quiet reading. For another, it's a loud gym session. For some, it's deep conversation. For others, it's solitary tinkering. Make a personal fuel list with 2 columns. Microfuels, 5 15-minute activities, and macrofuels, 1+ hour activities. Your microfuel list is your emergency kit. Step outside for air, listen to one favorite song, stretch for 5 minutes. Your macrofuel list is your scheduled maintenance. A weekly hike, a creative hobby, an uninterrupted dinner with a loved one. These are not rewards for finishing work. They are the prerequisites for doing good work. Imagine Priya 6 months after learning this. She feels the Sunday night dread creeping in. Instead of ignoring it, she acknowledges, my fuel is low. She looks at her calendar and protects a lunch break the next day for a walk, microfuel. She also schedules a half-day on Friday to leave early and visit an art museum, something on her macrofuel list. At work, when asked for a last-minute task, she checks in with her feeling of pressure and uses her boundary. I can't take that on fully today, but I can help you brainstorm who might have capacity. She is no longer a victim of her workload. She is the conscious pilot of her energy. Her fire burns steadily and brightly, warming and lighting her path, instead of raging until it burns out. Your mission is to become your own energy scientist. This week, conduct an audit. Carry a notepad and jot down moments when you feel a spike of energy or a drain of energy. What were you doing? Who were you with? At the week's end, review your notes to find your unique fuel sources and drains. Then, take one action. Set one tiny new boundary based on a drain and schedule one definite microfuel activity into your next 2 days. Treat these appointments with yourself as seriously as a meeting with your boss. This is the foundational work of lasting success and peace. You are learning to respect your humanity, not override it. By fueling your fire with intention, you build a light that can last a lifetime and illuminate the way for others too. Chapter 9. Build teams and bonds that last. The tech startup had brilliant minds, but the atmosphere was icy. Teams worked in silos, meetings were polite but passive-aggressive, and new ideas were shot down with a dismissive, "We've tried that." Innovation had stalled because psychological safety, the feeling that you can speak up without risk, was zero. People were pretending to agree while hiding their real concerns. Then a new team lead, Amir, was hired. He didn't start with grand plans, he started with feelings. In his first meeting, he shared a recent professional failure of his own and what he learned from it. The room was stunned, then slowly, others began to share. The shift was palpable. The focus moved from protecting egos to solving problems. This is the secret. Lasting bonds are built on the mortar of emotional honesty, not just the bricks of shared tasks. Psychological safety is the bedrock of any great team or relationship. It's the unspoken agreement that says, you can be yourself here, including your unsure, imperfect, or struggling self. Without it, people wear masks. They waste energy managing impressions instead of contributing ideas. As a leader or a friend, you build this safety one vulnerable brick at a time. It starts with you. Model the behavior you want to see. Admit when you don't know, apologize when you're wrong, and express appreciation openly. When Amir shared his failure, he gave everyone permission to be human. He showed that being smart wasn't about having all the answers, but about being curious and resilient. This vulnerability is not weakness. It is a compelling and magnetic strength that invites trust. Now use the power of targeted appreciation to reinforce this safety. Most recognition is generic. Good job. Emotionally intelligent appreciation is specific and focuses on effort or character. The way you patiently explained that complex idea to the client built so much trust. Or, "I really value your optimism in that tough meeting. It kept us moving forward." This type of praise sees the person, not just the output. It makes them feel valued for who they are, not just for what they produce. Do this sincerely, one-on-one. Watch how it transforms a person's posture and engagement. They feel seen, and a person who feels seen will often rise to become their best self. This builds loyalty and commitment that no paycheck can buy. Next, master the ritual of the check-in round. This simple practice transforms group dynamics. At the start of any team meeting or even a family dinner, go beyond "How are you?" Ask a specific, feeling-oriented question. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your energy level today? Or, in one word, what's the emotion you're bringing into this room? Let everyone share briefly, with no judgment or fixing. This accomplishes two things. It gets hidden feelings onto the table so they don't sabotage the work, and it builds empathy as people hear each other's human context. A teammate who shares their a 3 because their kid is sick gets immediate grace from the group. This ritual builds a web of connection and understanding that makes all future collaborations smoother. Imagine Amir's team 6 months later. Brainstorming sessions are lively and full of wild ideas because no one fears looking foolish. Conflicts are addressed quickly in the open because trust is high. When projects fail, the team conducts learning retrospectives focused on growth, not blame. The bonds are so strong that people volunteer to help each other without being asked. This is the ultimate competitive advantage, a group of people who are emotionally invested in each other's success. This principle works identically in friendships and families. A family that checks in and appreciates each other specifically creates a home that is a sanctuary, not just a place to live. You become the creator of environments where people, including you, can truly flourish. Your builder's challenge is to implement one practice this week. In your next team or family gathering, start with a simple check-in round. Or choose one person and give them a piece of specific character-based appreciation, either verbally or in a note. Observe the reaction both in them and in your own feeling of connection. This is how you shift culture, one interaction at a time. You are not just managing tasks, you are tending to the human spirit. You are building ecosystems of trust where amazing things can grow. By prioritizing the emotional fabric of your groups, you create something rare and priceless, a place where people belong, and because they belong, they give their very best. That is the legacy of a true emotionally intelligent leader. Chapter 10. Your EQ Action Plan. You have gathered powerful tools. You can notice your feelings, name them, rewrite your inner voice, pause before reacting, walk in others' shoes, have tough talks, transform conflict, protect your energy, and build psychological safety. Now this final chapter is about weaving these skills into the single, strong fabric of your daily life. This is not about perfection. It is about consistent, gentle direction. Think of yourself as a gardener. You have learned about each plant's skill, the soil, your body, and the climate, your relationships. Now, you need a simple, sustainable routine for watering, weeding, and pruning. Your action plan is that routine, a flexible, personal guide to keep your emotional garden thriving through all seasons, so you can enjoy its fruits every single day. First, we design your unique daily core practice. This is a non-negotiable 5-minute ritual you do every morning. It has 3 parts: scan, name, set. Scan your body for 1 full minute, just notice sensations without judgment. Name the dominant emotion you sense, e.g., hopeful, rushed, calm. Set one intention for how you want to be today, not just what you want to do, e.g., I will be patient, or I will listen fully. This practice grounds you in self-awareness from the moment you wake up. It tunes your instrument before you play the day's symphony. It ensures you start as the author of your day, not its victim. This tiny investment pays massive dividends in clarity and calm. Next, we create your weekly EQ check-in. Each weekend, take 15 minutes for a kind review. Grab your journal and ask 3 questions. 1. When did I feel most alive this week? This identifies your fuel. 2. When did I feel most drained or reactive? This pinpoints growth edges and boundary needs. 3. What is one small EQ skill I want to practice in the coming week? Choose one from the book, like using I feel statements or taking my pause button. This is not a grading session. It's a compassionate debrief with your wisest self. It turns your lived experience into data for continuous growth. It ensures you learn from life, rather than just letting it happen to you. This habit builds incredible self-knowledge over time. Your plan also needs a relationship nurture list. Write down the names of 5-10 key people in your work and personal life. Each month, glance at this list. For each person, ask, do they feel seen and valued by me? Let this question guide one small action: a thank you note, a check-in call, an offer of help, or a specific compliment. This systematizes the empathy and appreciation from Chapter 9, ensuring your bonds are actively maintained. Relationships are like plants. They don't thrive on neglect. This list ensures your emotional intelligence flows outward, creating a positive ripple effect in your world. It moves EQ from a self-help concept to a force for good in your community. Now we prepare for storms with your emergency protocol. Identify your top 3 emotional triggers, e.g., feeling disrespected, facing unfair criticism, being overwhelmed. For each trigger, write down your pre-planned response. For example, trigger, feeling disrespected in a meeting. Protocol: 1. Press my pause button, take 3 breaths. 2. Ask a clarifying question. Can you help me understand your concern better? 3. Use an I feel statement if needed. Having this written plan is like a fire drill for your emotions. When the heat is on, you don't have to think. You just execute your protocol. This turns high-pressure moments into demonstrations of your mastery, reinforcing your confidence and your reputation as a steady leader. Finally, embrace the cycle of gentle growth. Progress in emotional intelligence is not a straight line upward, it's a spiral. You will revisit the same lessons at deeper levels. Some days you'll master a tough talk, other days you'll snap at a barista. This is normal. Your plan is your compass, not your judge. When you stumble, use your skills on yourself. Notice the feeling, name it, disappointment. Talk to yourself like a friend and choose a next step. Forgive, learn, and begin again. This self-compassion is the ultimate sign of mastery. You now have everything you need to navigate a rich, authentic, and connected human experience. You are no longer pretending. You are living with emotional intelligence. Your journey of actual mastery has truly begun. Conclusion: your new reality. Look back at the person who started reading this book. You might have been someone who said, "I'm fine," automatically, who felt storms of emotion you couldn't name, who had conversations in your head you never dared to have out loud. That person was living in the pretend world, where emotions were messy problems to be hidden or hurried away. Now, you have a new map and a new set of tools. You understand that your feelings are not obstacles. They are your most loyal guides, pointing you toward your needs, your values, and your truth. You know that a moment of anger is information, a pang of sadness is a signal, and a flash of joy is fuel. You are no longer at war with your inner world. You have learned its language and can navigate it with confidence and compassion. This is your new reality, a life of authentic power. Power not over others but over your own responses. Power to choose connection over conflict, clarity over confusion, and courage over comfort. You will still feel all the same emotions, the frustration, the fear, the joy, but now you have a relationship with them. You can welcome them, learn from them, and let them pass through you without being swept away. This is what it means to actually master emotional intelligence. It is the quiet, steady ability to be fully human in a world that often asks you to be a machine. Go forward and build the teams, the relationships, and the inner peace that you now know are possible. Your journey continues, but you are no longer pretending. You are truly living.